attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. I am excited that everybody could join us this morning for our monthly webinar. We've got with us our good friend, Michelle McKinley from Stone Mountain Main Street, and she's going to work with us today on Small Business Saturday and also leveraging social media for your program to help you get some things done. Like with all of our broadcasts, we will have all of our attendees muted so that we don't get any feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to send those in through the question section of your webinar bar, and we'll try to ask those at the end. Again, we're excited to have Michelle McKinley with us today, and I'm going to let her go ahead and get started. Thank you, Michelle.
Good morning. I hope everybody had a great weekend and is ready for a lot of fun over the Halloween week. Try to keep this pretty straightforward and to the point. As most of you know, I was previously the Main Street Director in Macon and moved to Stone Mountain in March of this year. So all of this is going to be about my experience in Macon as the manager there, and then I'll be talking a little bit about what I'm doing, particularly with Small Business Saturday, to move that forward in Stone Mountain. So it may be a little confusing, but that's where we are. So the Small Business Saturday program started in 2010. It was created by American Express. And in 2010 in Macon, that was prior to the creation of our Main Street program. So in 2010, one of our awesome downtown businesses, the Golden Bough Bookstore, supported the Small Business Saturday program through their just through their social media, and talked about it a little bit. It was very small, but it was the very beginning of the program. So in 2011, we had just become a Main Street program in September, and I had just come on board in July. So I was just learning about the program and also taking on some other events with our Main Street program. So what we did was we created, or I created a Facebook event with the help of our promotions committee and Kristen O'Neill, who was the promotions chair at the time. So we created the Facebook event, and then that led into a Facebook event that we called Shop Local for the Holidays. And I'm going to show you some screen captures of those events here in a minute. In 2012, we again created a Facebook event, and with the help of our promotions committee, we got a little bit more involved with that. We talked to more of our businesses downtown, found out more about what they were going to be doing on Shop Small Saturday, and really tried to push it out even more through our social media. And then last year in 2013, which was the third year the Main Street program had promoted the event, we again created the Facebook event. In 2013, that was the first year we had actually gotten the activation pack, which includes all the swag that you get from American Express. And then we again moved forward with our Shop Local for the Holidays promotion. Now, I know Billy was telling me about some really cool events that some of our communities are doing this year, and I think that's awesome. I've read about them on the American Express website. They do, communities all over the country are doing really great events. The reason that I have personally chosen not to ever do an event, but rather really focus on social media, is because both in Macon and in Stone Mountain, our Christmas parade falls right around Shop Small Saturday. And so it was just a matter of time management and as to what we could accomplish and try to do well without completely falling apart. So, all right, so I'm going to move on and show you a little bit about how we manage these on our Facebook page. Now, this was all, of course, tied into our Twitter as well, but it's easier to show you the Facebook event. So this is banner or cover photos for events and things like that. So it looks a little boring, but that was what we were working with in 2011. So you can see we created the event from the middle of November through Christmas Eve. We talked a little bit about the program and and what Small Business Saturday was, some cutesy little coffee. I happen to have an advertising background, so I was able to draw on that a little bit. And you can see that what we said was, while this is not an actual event, we want people to pledge for those who love downtown to make an effort to shop local during the holiday season. And you can see the very beginning of, you can see 567, Amanda Jane Salon. And so the first year, we just had a list of businesses. We didn't really have any more information about it. It was just a list of where you could shop on Small Business Saturday. And then throughout the holiday season, we were continuously posting things. You can see here on December 15th, Heather Lee Wakefield, who works at the Macon Arts Alliance, posted something. We were putting this out on our main Facebook page and on our Twitter feed as well. In the first year, you can see that we only had 10 guests. Now, that's not to say that only 10 people shopped in downtown, but you can see how it kind of plays out and grows each year. In 2012, same deal. We were trying to really sort of tie in with American Express more. We talked about the $25 statement credit you got. We included the Shop Small website so that people could find out more about what it was. And then there's more of that little cutesy coffee. And then we tried to, in an effort to help our businesses' Facebook pages and help them grow their audience as well, we linked to all of their Facebook pages. We talked more about, we gave information about their hours. We talked about what you were going to be able to find there in case you weren't familiar with a particular business. And again, the event grew in 2012. In 2013 was the advent of the cover photo, which really makes it look better. And again, talking about American Express, last year the credit statements, the statement credit, went down to $10, and I think it's $10 again this year. And again, we listed the businesses with information, their hours, what they were going to be doing on Small Business Saturday, and then again we continued posting information. Billy stole the mouse from me. So you can see that we had we just created the day. And then this also linked into the other event, which was Shop Local for the holidays. The PowerPoint is not active.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. And you can see that the event grew even more. Now, based on just talking with our downtown businesses, they felt like 2013 was the best year. Again, that was the third year that Main Street had promoted it, really the fourth year of the program. So each year it has grown and grown, and I know that Stephen's going to do a great job with that in Macon this year. So in 2014, I'm now in Stone Mountain, and so I've created our event. Now, things are a little different in Stone Mountain. I'm in a much smaller community, and I'm in an older demographic, which is not nearly as social media savvy as the Macon community. So this is going to be a little bit of a test for us. But one of the things that I'm really challenged with in Stone Mountain is really getting people to understand how important it is to shop local. And that's just not a mentality that they have had. So I think this is going to be really important. One of the other things that's different about 2014, and I know some of you have been in meetings where Jessica Reynolds has talked about this. Now it's all about, Facebook has gotten into the money game, and so it's all about promoting your posts and things like that. So you can see I pointed that out down here. It's going to be important, I think, for everybody if you're using social media to promote Shop Small Saturday to put a few dollars. It doesn't have to be a ton, but to put a few dollars into promoting your events. You can see I've just started this page last week, I think, and so it hasn't really grown. I'm going to be working with our businesses this week to find out what they're going to be doing on Shop Small Saturday. I've got the swag all in. If you haven't ordered your stuff, I believe you still can. It's changed. Nope. I thought October 16th was the cutoff, and then last week I saw that October 29th was the cutoff. So I encourage everybody to just go to the American Express website, and if you haven't ordered your stuff, go ahead and try to order it again. This is a list of all of the stuff that you get. Stephen Fulbright, Macon, and I were talking about how cute the tote bags are this year. They really changed them up a lot. They're canvas. They're a lot cuter than they have been in the past. You get an event banner, which I'm going to have our Public Works Department hang up, and then all this other swag. So what I did last year and what I will be doing this year is going to each business the week before Thanksgiving, and I'm going to be using our Economic Development Committee to help me do this. So I'll be dividing all of this stuff out, putting it in the bags, and delivering it to the different businesses the week of the event. In Stone Mountain, we have had one of our businesses downtown who has participated in Shop Small Saturday. So this will be the first time that we've really done a complete, everybody in downtown participate in it, and I'm hoping that that's really going to help us kick off a better mentality about shopping local. There are opportunities on the American Express website for individual businesses to create personalized materials. So I encourage you to share that with your businesses and get them to buy into it. And American Express every year releases more and more tools, and just to be honest with you, I haven't had time to really explore all the stuff that they have, but they do a good job of gathering information from different communities to see what they're going to be doing and putting all of that information. So just to make it simple for you, for 2014, if you've never participated in Shop Small Saturday, I like to say keep it simple, stupid. You don't have to go worry about throwing a big event, spending a lot of money. Just start with social media. You can create a Facebook event. You can create a Twitter hashtag for yourself, and then start with getting buy-in from your businesses and from your economic development and your promotions committees. Get their help. Get them to start talking about it. Creating that activation team. We're all working like 60 hours a week at this point, so get your committees to help you with distributing that swag that you get from American Express, and then just promote it. Set up, if you're not using something like Hootsuite to set up your social media posts, I highly recommend it. Upgrade to the Pro if you need to. It's not that expensive. But just keep those posts going, and don't just stop on Shop Small Saturday. Use it all year round. I think that it's really important that we all create that mentality of shopping locally for everything that you possibly can. Your downtown may not allow you to shop for everything that you need, but you can certainly encourage people to shop for what you have. So, and what we had done in Macon was each year we created this 12 days of shopping locally, and you can see the little banners that we had. I had some local graphic artists create these for me, and they didn't charge me to do it. But you can shop small for everything. We did obviously shop small for the holidays, shop small for Valentine's Day. We did a shop small for spring, where we talked about Mother's Day and Easter and Father's Day, and so really and truly, just reminding people to shop locally and shop small for every single at every single opportunity, and that really helps to support the businesses. And as with everything we do in downtown development, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So it's not going to change your downtown overnight. It's not going to, you may not necessarily feel the benefits of it immediately, but they're certainly over time going to change the mentality of the people who are shopping in your area and the surrounding areas, and get them to be encouraged to shop with your businesses. All right, moving on to Benjamin Moore. For 2 years, Benjamin Moore had had a program called Main Street Matters. It started out as Paint What Matters, and then the second year they really wanted to focus on Main Street and downtowns and things like that. So in May of 2013, I had an old intern of mine contacted me and said, "Hey, Michelle, I just found out about this program, and I really think that Macon should participate." And I said, "Oh, okay." And so I got on the website, and I started looking around and trying to figure out how to get involved. And it involved several phone calls and emails that got lost, and a last-ditch attempt at just a Benjamin Moore 800 number. And I finally got to talk to somebody. And as you can see, there were 800 cities that tried to enter in the Main Street Matters program. And of that, 300 of them were entered, 120 of them were chosen to vote on. And if you were my friend on, or were my friend on social media in 2013, you know that I threatened people, literally, and we Macon ended up being one of the 20 communities that was chosen to participate in the Main Street Matters program. And this isn't so much about the Main Street Matters program, but more about how you can really leverage your social media. We used 4 different social media accounts. We had our Main Street Macon Facebook, our Main Street Macon Twitter, as well as our Shop Local Macon Facebook page. I also worked really closely with our mayor's office to use their Facebook and Twitter accounts. I also used my personal pages and feeds and things like that, and had all of my board, my volunteers, our downtown businesses, people who lived across the country who loved Macon were participating. And in the Macon, I had a great relationship with the local media market in Macon, and they were a huge, huge part of that. I think all in all, we ended up with a story almost every week. It was a 6-week voting process for this program, and we didn't get into it until the program had been going on for 2.5 weeks. So people had been voting across the country, and the guy even said, the guy from Benjamin Moore said, Michelle, we really want y'all in here. This is a great downtown. All the things that we know about Macon. It's got good bones and it's got great buildings, but I just don't know how it's going to work because the program has been going on for 2.5 weeks. And I said, don't you worry, we're real competitive. We'll be okay. And so I decided that I would prove him wrong. And within the first week and a half, we were one of the movers and shakers in the Main Street Matters program. They would never tell us exactly how many votes we got or where we were, but on Monday morning we woke up and found out that over the weekend we had moved up substantially. So we were pretty excited about that, and that helped sort of fuel the fire. We got more media coverage because of the fact that we were a mover and shaker over the weekend. And so we just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. There eventually were photos of me with a machine gun threatening people, but we just had a lot of fun with it, and the community really got behind it, so it was great. So in July, please ignore that awful picture of me in the purple dress, but that was like right as we got the FedEx package from Benjamin Moore with our paint can, and then that's me with our mayor, who was tremendously excited about the project. This was our first meeting with a group from Benjamin Moore, and as you can see, they had 3 of their executives come in to help us look at the project. We were able to choose 2 blocks in downtown Macon on 2nd Street, which was already part of a SPLOST project to develop a block of that. So we layered it. I did that intentionally and layered that project so that there would be an even bigger impact. And here are some of the results of what we were able to accomplish. The project allowed for us to paint the first story of the building, and then each property owner was given vouchers for $10 off per gallon. And if you know anything about Benjamin Moore paint, it tends to be the most expensive, but I have to agree that now it's one of the best. But they were trying to really help out the property owners as well. Their team worked and got everybody on board, got the property owners and the business owners to sign off on everything. But you can see it really made a huge impact, cleaned up some buildings that had been vacant for a while, and we all know that sometimes a good old coat of paint will really change the way people feel about a building. So this was a dramatic improvement for these 2 buildings with a property owner who doesn't ever want to put any money into their buildings. This is one of my favorite stories. You can see that this building is beautiful and stately, but had been at some point unfortunately covered up with some awful aluminum siding on the first floor. And so I met with the property owners, talked with our Benjamin Moore reps, and and convince the property owners to finally remove the aluminum siding from the building. And so the picture on the right, you can see the old header where a sign would have been. The brick was intact underneath, and so we were able to take that down. And then this is the best picture I could find, but you can see because of the state of the brick, they did have to paint over it. Excuse me, but we replaced the header for the signage. I believe they did eventually go back and put in the awning back on, but it really cleaned up the building, made it look 1,000 times better, and really made a big difference on that corner. This was the celebration event. This was a local bakery in Macon on Cotton Avenue, Amanda's Cakery. And Amanda, who's on the far left, went out and painstakingly measured each building and built that cake to scale and matched the paint colors and everything. She was really excited about it. One of the things I loved about the Benjamin Moore project was that they were really committed to using local contractors, local people. This was at the celebration event. We used a local DJ. The guy in red, if we had been able to meet in Macon, is Tony Long, who has been a driving force in historic preservation in Macon for the past 30 or 35 years, and he is a local contractor. And I really pushed for him to be hired because he has touched every single building in downtown Macon, and I knew that he would be able to provide a lot of history and backstory and have the relationships with the property owners. And that's Haley. She was our Benjamin Moore rep. She was awesome. So the point of all of this Benjamin Moore story is that you never stop promoting it. We had a huge kickoff event in February that we coordinated with Benjamin Moore. The mayor and Tony and the Benjamin Moore rep were able to paint the first brush strokes. Of course, there were thousands of pictures. We continued to talk with the media. We had the whole, everybody in the Macon media market out there that day. You've seen some pictures from the celebration event. We created some specific hashtags, and I'll be honest, I don't remember what they were anymore, but we really, we never stopped promoting the project even after we had been able to accomplish it. Even in the sort of waiting time between getting the first FedEx package from Benjamin Moore in July until we started painting in February, we talked about it every single week about how excited we were. If we had updates from Benjamin Moore, we tried to share those with the community and keep the media involved. We would send out press releases if we had, if we had something that was press release worthy. If when we had the group come in to start looking at paint colors, we called the media. We had them come out so they could get new pictures and get new quotes and really keep it fresh for the community. So it never really went away throughout all of that. So that's my presentation. I hope that was helpful, and Billy's going to let me know if we have any questions.
Sure, just a second. Okay. This question asked, did the Chamber or Convention and Visitors Bureau assist you in promoting Small Business Saturday? Is the Chamber or Convention and Visitors Bureau in Stone Mountain helping you this year?
For the Chamber CVB question in Macon, I would say probably not so much on the Convention and Visitors Bureau in terms of promoting Small Business Saturday. We were lucky enough to have our promotions committee chair and a board member who worked at the Chamber. And so particularly in 2013, we were really able to work a lot more closely together with our Chamber to promote the small businesses. And Tess Harper, who some of y'all have met, was actually able to do some commercials for Small Business Saturday that she filmed with a local videographer. So that was Stone Mountain, or that was Macon. In Stone Mountain, we actually don't have a chamber, and the Visitor Center is actually a committee of the Downtown Development Authority and Main Street. So yes, they will be helping to promote Small Business Saturday through the Visitor Center in Stone Mountain.
How active do your board members have to be in making this a priority and making it successful?
Of course, the more active, the better. I think that I'm going to have a little bit more. The promotions committee in Macon was huge. I couldn't have done it without Kristen the first year, and certainly couldn't have done it without Tess the second and third year. It's good because of the timing of the Christmas parade in Stone Mountain, which is on the Friday after Thanksgiving. The promotions committee is pretty tied up, so I'm really going to be relying on the Economic Development Committee, and I'm going to be asking them to take some time out of their lives to go and hand out the swag bags to the businesses and help help really talk it up among the businesses. So more is always better. I think you just have to take what you can get. I mean, we all have different boards and different committees and different levels of commitment, and you just have to make the best of it.
How do you track the level of success your merchants have on Small Business Saturdays? What are some ways to feel what their impact has
That's
been?
a great question, Billy. Really, we relied on word of mouth, again, because we didn't have a big event, so we couldn't really measure how many people were there or how many people shopped. Last year in Macon in 2013 was the year that we really felt like we turned a corner. I felt like we did our best job of promoting it. I saw people out with the Shop Small bags throughout the rest of the holiday season, which was great, and the businesses really responded well to it last year. If you're having a big event, of course, it's easy to count the number of people you see there, or count the number of bags you give away. One thing, and you can see it in the Facebook event pages, each year the number of people who responded grew. So I think, again, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, so you just have to start with what you can start with. We're a month out at this point. You start where you can and do the best that you can, knowing that we all have other Christmas stuff going on. and then, as you get traction, it'll grow and grow.
So when Small Business Saturday first launched, there was a connection between American Express and the companies that took American Express as some of the benefits. How do you work with small businesses that don't accept American Express as part of the program, and what's kind of the standpoint from American Express in working with those small businesses?
To be honest with you, I've never gotten any pushback from American Express with including those businesses. If you were to go back on the Main Street Macon Facebook page and look at the events, you could find that there were some listings with businesses who did not accept American Express, and we tried to make sure that where we knew that, we posted that and made that information available. But I really do think that that American Express is less concerned about whether the business accepts their credit card. This is a huge branding campaign for them. I mean, they've sort of created their own monster. And American Express is all over everything, and I really do feel like they are committed to the idea of shopping at local businesses. So I've never had any pushback from American Express, and last year I actually worked somewhat closely with them because I had an article, or not an article, but some information published about our program with them, and I've never had any pushback from them. So I frankly wouldn't worry about it. It's our job to promote all of our small businesses, no matter what credit card they accept. So I would go for it and not worry too much about it.
What's a good way to connect the individual Facebook pages from small businesses with the page that you're creating locally for the event in the community?
We did that by linking their Facebook pages to the Facebook event. So can I go back?
Sure.
Hang on. Billy's very fancy here. Let's see. So you can see it better in 2012. You can see where we we actually put in the link for the Facebook pages of the individual businesses, which again helps build their own individual audiences in their social media, and creates that link in with the event.
How much lead time do you need in creating the campaign from kind of start to finish? Like, I know people are looking at their calendar and they're thinking this is, 5 weeks away roughly. In a good year, how far in advance would you start? And for those that are just looking at it now, they still have a good shot at getting this done?
Absolutely. The first year that, and so in 2011, again, I started in July. We were accredited in September. In mid-October, I was told by the mayor's office I was going to be taking over the Christmas parade, which was the weekend after Thanksgiving. And we still had a successful Small Business Saturday campaign. I was going to go back to 2011 to the Facebook page. So I think you do what you can. If you haven't thought about this yet and you've got 5 weeks to go, send an email out to your businesses. Say, look, we're going to do this. Create the event. I'm sure if you don't have pictures of of some of your businesses that you can use for a Facebook promotion, just run out there and grab them on your phone and throw them up there. This doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be something that you plan all year for. I applaud all of you who do big events for Small Business Saturday. I just have simply never had the time, and I've tried to do the best I can with very limited resources. I had a very small budget in Macon, and I have an equally small budget in Stone Mountain. So this doesn't have to be something that really eats up a lot of your time or your budget. I would say if this is a good year in Stone Mountain, because I knew it was coming and have had some experience with it, I think I ordered my activation kit as soon as they were available, just so I knew it was coming and I didn't have to think about it again. And we talked about Small Business Saturday really in depth in October at our Economic Development Committee meeting. We'll have another meeting our next meeting is on November 6th, at which point I will let them know when the bags will be available to deliver, and I'll have the committee go out probably the week of November 17th to deliver the bags. And listen, if those bags get out there before Small Business Saturday, who cares? You're getting the message out, and again, it's not, of course, we want to promote that Saturday. We want to get people out of the big boxes and back to our main streets, but it really is more about creating that attitude of shopping locally, supporting local businesses, every opportunity you get.
As it relates to the Benjamin Moore campaign, did the individual property owners have to get permits for that? Is that in a historic district where the projects were done? Yes,
Downtown Macon is a local historic district. They did have to go, in none of the cases did they have to go through a certificate of appropriateness process. We worked really closely. As soon as we found out that we had won the award, I contacted our Department of Inspections and Fees and that department head, as well as the Executive Director of Planning and Zoning. And when we had our first, when it got to January, when we had our first Benjamin Moore team member come to really start working on the process of getting them in there, we actually had a meeting with those two gentlemen and said, look, this is what we're doing. It was mostly just paint, and even the removal of the of that aluminum siding that I showed you didn't have to go through a COA process. So and I'll be honest, I meant to say this too about the Benjamin Moore project. I have not heard if they're going to do the project again. It was I've been talking to people, to the friends of mine who were a part of the Benjamin Moore team, and I know that they were really looking at making some big changes, and I have not heard if they're going to roll it out again. But I think the key to that is just really starting early with any of your officials and just saying, look, this is what's coming. We may have to push it through, but I need you to work with me because this is something that's going to be really good for our community. And luckily for me, the guys that I was working with were really great to, and understood and got it, and we're pleased to have the program in town.
Well, I don't see any more questions. I really appreciate Michelle coming with us and sharing with us. I'm sure that if you have any questions, you can reach out to her or reach out to our office, and we'll be glad to try to help you. Again, if you haven't ordered your activation kit, just go to American Express and look through that. Small Business Saturdays, just Google it. You'll find everything that you need, and try to get signed up if you haven't already. And we appreciate everybody logging in with us this morning. Again, we'll record this and we'll have it available so that you can watch it again in the future. And thank you all for your attention on a Monday morning. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks.
Y'all have a great day.